In 2019, the world started talking about a structural crisis impacting the planet's most important job, food production. The world's food demand is rising, but the number of people quitting or not joining farming is consistently growing. This raises an existential question. Who will produce the food for our collective survival? The dichotomy of agriculture in India is unique. India ranks second in terms of global food production, but it's also home to one of the largest undernourished populations in the world. We've all heard that India is an agricultural country. Agriculture is only 16% of GDP, but it's also the single largest sector for employment, providing livelihood to over 50% of the population. Officially, farmers make up a few 100 million of the population. But adding family members who help or seasonally work on farms as wage laborers, the number of farm workers is likely to be closer to 500 million people. Marginal farmers, as they're called, make a meager level of income from their own land and sometimes work as laborers on others' land to make ends meet. In India, the percentage of marginal farmers among all farmers is about 70%. Which means only 30% of our farmers may not be living in poverty. Agriculture is dying, not in terms of food production, but as a desirable profession. For all the bucolic and romanticized portrayals of rural farming lifestyles, it really is a thankless, risky, and backbreaking job. This is especially true in the way majority of farming is done in India, a form of farming called subsistence farming. In subsistence farming, farmers grow food crops to meet the needs of themselves and their families on small holdings. Outputs from these farms are used for survival and local requirements, with little or no surplus for sale or trade. So one bad yield, whether due to errant rains, pests, etc., and most subsistence farmers have no buffer available. It's no surprise then that younger generations in farming households don't want to follow in their parents' footsteps, which pushes urbanization. Unfortunately, urban areas, while offering more opportunities, also relegate most of them to low-end jobs. The simplest means to make more money as a farmer is to produce more with less input, meaning productivity. Even if we double or triple our output, would that double or triple farmers' earnings? No. In fact, this glut would reduce prices. That's just how the economy works. Farmer incomes will only rise when there are fewer farmers meeting the same demand. So jobs aside, India needs to shift from basic farming to more efficient, sustainable and productive farming. To save traditional agriculture, we need to think about a few things. From my research, here are some of the most important considerations. First, improving productivity and efficiency. This includes harnessing technology from seeds to harvest to reduce costs and increase yield. Proper science should give best practices related to soil, climate, water availability, etc. Conventional wisdom still dominates in agriculture, and we do not have enough of a network of agricultural colleges and scientists in the country. On one hand, we have drones, satellite imagery, soil sensors, and Internet of Things grabbing a lot of attention in global agriculture. But on the other hand, India still has a long way to go before the most low-tech solutions like drip irrigation become mainstream. Big investments are also needed in processing, harvest, and supply chain technologies like cold storage. 2. System-level efficiencies and pricing of inputs. One way to improve efficiency of agricultural systems is to price inputs like water and fertilizer properly. Because of subsidies, India's fertilizer mix is skewed towards the overuse of certain fertilizers like urea. This has created an imbalance in fertilizer mixes and worsening of soil quality, which in turn reduces how crops respond to fertilizers. This has hurt productivity and farmers' profits considerably. Today's systems of subsidized and free inputs help farmers to an extent. It also means farmers have no incentive to save resources like electricity or water. So the use of technology for efficiency is rare, if at all. If we're worried about a water crisis today, imagine the situation of farmers as climate change progresses and droughts become that much more common. 3. Taxing high-income agriculture. The point of this tax isn't to mooch off revenues. It's for the signaling it provides. There are grave issues in Indian agriculture, like land and labor being used as a laundry machine by businessmen or politicians, since this area is tax-free. How many wealthy folks do we know that own farmhouses, palatial second homes in the outskirts of big cities? Many of these are a result of loopholes in a certain land ceiling act, under which large agricultural plots were only allowed for farming. A similar loophole is also exploited by providers of water in tankers. A number of them use free power under the guise of agriculture to draw underground water and sell it in the city for money. The lesson? We need to shut down farming as a loophole and consider taxing the high-income farmer. 4. Growing organic. Organic foods are important for India for many reasons. First, we spend a lot of taxpayer money on inputs, especially fertilizer. Going organic can allow these funds to be used elsewhere, like technology. Second, organic produce relies more on labor as a substitute for other inputs, so it can do wonders for employment. Organic farming is intensive and it doesn't favor economies of scale, but this model does fit well with India's small-sized farms. There are also studies that show that over time and combined with crop rotation, organic farming requires less water than conventional farming. 3. While the health benefits of organic foods for consumers is debated, the system-level impacts are very clear. Farmers who overuse conventional pesticides have higher cancer risk, and reckless use of antibiotics in livestock is a major reason for drug-resistant infections. Traditional agriculture may be dying, but hope and solutions are not. We need a revolution and a whole new economic model to rebuild our broken agricultural system. The sooner we move agriculture away from politics and stop applying band-aids to functional flaws in our agricultural system, the sooner we can take bold steps in new directions. The sooner we can embrace modern technology so Indian farmers can make more with less. What do you think? Have you come across any interesting stories or videos on the Indian agricultural system? Let me know in the comments. There's a lot more from the world of agriculture coming your way on Biotic. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.